It's awesome we finally got Nocturne ported to modern consoles. I've been dying to play the remaster for myself, and making a review of this would be super cool. Let's hope I can beat this quickly so that the video comes out timely in this wonderful month of May. It'd be a shame if anything were to happen. Please just make a Switch Pro already, I'm begging you. A quick word before we kick off the video. Hi. Do you like chairs? Well, if so, there's a good chance the EwinRacing gaming chair may be perfect for you. In all honesty, the nice people at EwinRacing contacted me at the perfect time, as I genuinely could not find a chair around my entire house that wasn't grating to sit in after a while. But with the chair's slick design, adjustable cushions and armrests, and so many other little factors at play, it's genuinely been a joy to use ever since they sent it over. There are plenty of colors to choose from as well, so nab the one that fits your style the best. These are already affordable for what they are, but if you follow the links down below and use code Oziach, you'll get 20% off your order. Thanks again to the folks at EwinRacing for this opportunity. Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne is an incredibly interesting game, to put it lightly. This game is the definition of a cult classic, and with this new remaster having finally been released, a whole new audience gets to cry while fighting Matador. Before playing Nocturne HD, the only mainline SMT game I'd played to completion was Strange Journey on the DS, not the bad one, which I did enjoy, but I'd been craving a deep dive into a more traditional example of the series for a while. Listen, I'm a Persona baby, I've been milking that series for content almost as much as Atlus has, so this was inevitable. Light spoilers for Nocturne, though this is a PS2 game and this video is releasing 2 months late, and this is a very different kind of review from what I normally do, so basically shut up and enjoy the ride. This game is rad and I'm gonna show it to you. On that note, I'm inclined to mention that I was actually sent an early review copy by Atlus West, so I couldn't thank them more for that, though I'm sorry this took so long to put out. For the unaware of you all, Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster for PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and Steam is the remaster of the third SMT game. Boy, what a shocker. In all seriousness, Nocturne was the series' first major leap into 3D. Megaten games having mostly just sat in the realm of flat visual novels and first-person dungeon crawlers. Unless you want to count Jack Bros or something, The scope was grander, the storytelling was more cinematic and ambitious, the plot was just as weird and crazy, but this time you're wearing shorts and sneakers? Bruh. I'm telling you, with a fit like that, avoiding the apocalypse is a must. With all these factors in mind for the game, we have to ask, did it live up to the expectations of its initial audience, and does it still hold up? Yeah, no duh, it's SMT Nocturne. What, you think I'm gonna be some contrarian and say the game has aged like an equals 3 video? No, this is still a solid JRPG. Not perfect, and a noticeable handful of those imperfections happen to be a result of the remaster, but it's an overall worthwhile experience through and through. Jumping right in, our protagonist has a wet dream about his school teacher, who makes fun of him for never writing his name on his tests. With a twink like this, you know he has a thing for humiliation. This has us typing in our name, and there are a few options if you're looking for a canon name for our fiendish protag. I personally went with the name Naoki Kashima from the audio drama because I thought it sounded neat. Our boy has the standard tutorial affair of meeting up with his friends at a hospital, meeting a weird journalist at a park, and watching the world implode. Oh no. So the actual game begins from here. A little boy dropped a slug into my throat without my consent, and I didn't like that very much, so now our goal is to hunt down that little troglodyte and shove him off the swing set. Or I guess his wheelchair. He's old sometimes, I don't know. I'm gonna bully him, okay? Our protagonist has become the Demi-Fiend, a cool neon, half-demon, half-jorts-wearing nerd with the power to punch people in the face like he's doing the cha-cha slide. This seems like a good time to mention the battle animations, as this initially caught me off guard and was like the worst first impression for this game's style. To clarify, I like this game's animations a lot, don't run screaming yet. Like I said before, I'm a spoiled little Persona baby, so my brain tricked itself into expecting some more fluid combat animation from the get-go. Obviously, it's an early 2000s title, but I just find it funny that in a game that does have really good battle animations, I must make that clear. Demi-Fiend's basic punch seemed so goofy when I first saw it. I did quickly get used to it though, and ignored its casual lack of friction. On the note of the combat, however, for anyone who hasn't played a Shin Megami Tensei game before, this is where I introduce you to Press Turn. The battle system that's so simple in concept, but so brilliant. Look, you see this little nerd right here? If I hit their weakness, I get more turns. And if they hit my weakness, I die.
The pattern of stacking buffs and debuffs, as well as teaming up with different demon allies that you recruit through bribery, both help add tons of depth to how battles can play out, which goes to show why this series has hooked so many fans of turn-based battles. Just a quick little note, I actually had to re-record some footage of the game, so I switched it to Merciful to speed up that process. If you see any stupidly high damage numbers, that's why. But on that note, what is Merciful? Simple. It's the insta-win baby mode added specifically for the HD remaster. Now, I don't judge anyone for playing with this difficulty, genuinely. I feel like there's way more value to this game than just the challenging battles, but it is pretty easy. Anywho, our little experimentation with the battle system eventually gets us out of the hospital, and oh gosh, they broke Earth! Now, here's a little aside for anyone who hasn't played an SMT game, especially those who have only played Persona. Now, are most of these games as heavy on the plot as other JRPGs? Not really. But are the stories bad? No, this game's plot is a banger! I'll keep the details mostly vague in case you actually want to jump into this experience, which I recommend highly, but basically, the world as we know it is destroyed at the start of the game, with an aspect of God known as Kagutsuchi claiming that anyone with a strong enough reason, capital R, can use their philosophy on life to reconstruct the world however they see fit. There are a few major reasons, each leader of their movements being pretty compelling as they morph and change throughout the game, with you choosing to either be their greatest ally or their biggest obstacle. This game is cool. It's also one of the few multi-path games that doesn't really have a canon ending, meaning that whatever you choose to do, your experience isn't necessarily going to feel lesser. The route you choose will be satisfying in the way that you want the story to progress. The Demi-Fiend doesn't get a reason of his own, only being a prophesied messiah meant to sway the existing reasons toward either success or failure. But my goal is still to beat up Satanic Benjamin Button, so we'll just say that's my reason. On the topic of all these characters in the story though, I definitely feel like it's important to note the one major reason, lowercase r, why I love this remaster, which is that the voice acting is, like, really good at times. At least in terms of the main characters, whether it be Hikawa, Hijiri, Thor my beloved, it's just handled really well across the board. Can I also mention that every single environment in this game is beyond memorable? I swear, out of all the Atlus RPGs I've played other than P5, this is the one where I best feel I can vividly remember every place I've visited, and have actually enjoyed exploring all those areas throughout. There are the insane halls of the Amalan Network, the mannequin caves, that stupid prison I got lost in for like an hour and a half because I'm stupid. It's an incredibly gorgeous game, and the HD textures of the remaster just help amplify it a little bit more. Enough stalling though, I've gushed enough about these things, but where's the real selling point of... oh my gosh, it's Dante from DMC2? Wait, what the heck?
Actually, that's DLC, but you can instead play with Raito Kuzunoha the 14th for the first time outside of Japan. He's even got 2 Shin Megami Tensei games of his own.
Oh, I guess that's fine, but
Dante is $10.
Wait, doesn't the entire game cost $50?
Yeah.
That's like a fifth of the cost.
Yeah.
And I only get Dante?
Yeah!
Really, Atlus? What do you take me for? Some kind of sucker?
Where is it? Where's the card? Right now for Dante. Give it to me. Just, I need it. I need it right.
Yeah, DLC for this game can be steep in price, and personally I wouldn't say most of it is especially worthwhile. But also Dante, so, you know. Except he only joins my party at the very end of the game, so... crap, I guess I have to beat this entire game. So I ventured off to retrieve my son of Sparta. I fought Matador, he wasn't that hard. I accidentally gave away Red Rider, reset my save to bring my son back to me, jumped through the floor a couple of times, and sorry, can we cut that back to the Matador clip? That explosion's still going, huh? Now, I can't honestly confirm if this is solely an issue with what I played on. Supposedly the Steam port is fine in this regard, but having played on Switch, man, if you're bugged by frame drops, there are a few instances in this game where it just chugs. Personally, it doesn't make a huge difference for me, especially with a slower turn-based game like this, but still, this was really funny to witness. Where the gameplay does shine the most though, and I don't actually hear this mentioned a ton, but this game actually has some of my favorite dungeon design in any RPG. It's a bit simple, having mostly labyrinthian passageways that lead you into various puzzles and traps, but it's their specificity in having this perfect balance of dead ends, cool secrets, and a good sense of momentum as you carry through that really makes each one shine. I don't know how to fully convey this without you simply playing it, and trust me, some dungeons definitely betray this sense of goodwill. But whether it be an insane and mystical journey through a giant mirage, I seriously adored this one, or the quicker journeys through places like this big ol' cult hideout that flat out looks like an alien base, I just found way more satisfaction in their simple, clever design than I expected. Except for half of the Kalpa dungeons, those got obnoxious real fast. However, in my opinion, this game is honestly carried by its characters and themes. Even though most of your progression seems to point towards the reward being the journey rather than the various destinations, those destinations you reach leave such a strong impression. There's always this overarching sense of dread whenever you speak to the last remnants of humanity, and seeing the gradual corruption of your friends as they succumb to this demonic landscape is disheartening, grim, yet almost inspiring as they somehow find the motivation to make a change in this world to make it as they see fit. Now, do I agree with any of them? But still, seeing their determination to fix the world and create it anew is incredibly fascinating. Reasons serve as a really interesting twist on SMT's usual alignment system, and I loved every second that they explored these warring philosophies. On the other hand, demons in this game seem to just be vibing out without a care for the most part. They're the lazy roommates who move in due to the rent going down after the neighbors got murdered, so you just get to sit back and witness them screw around, yell at you a bunch, and start race wars against a group of oppressed mannequin people. Okay, maybe this is like my roommates. Also, there are ghosts just floating around. Not much to say about them, they're just dead. By the end of the game, though, as we explore this world in turmoil, our player character has to make a choice. Will he stand with one of the established reasons, or will he break free of their desires and stand on his own to accept the world as it was? Demi-Fiend reflects on the ideologies and reasons presented. Although most of the surviving inhabitants of the Vortex world have a cynical outlook toward the world prior, our protagonist can't help but hold on to his optimism for what the original world was capable of. So, with faith in humanity and the world, we step forward into the freedom ending and revert history to... As if! So the Demi-Fiend actually just chooses to blow up the Earth instead because who gives a crap. Friendship ended with Kagetsuchi. Now Lucifer is my new best friend. After beating up that old man-child, of course, but we've made up. The true demon ending calls to us, so Demi-Fiend and his new buddy fly off to kick God in the face and all that jazz. A perfect, happy bookend. In all seriousness, I love this game from start to finish. Now, can I say I fully suggest getting the remaster? The remaster itself isn't the largest step up from the original. The HD graphics are nice, and I do love a lot of the voice acting, seriously. I'd actually recommend it just for that. But if it's easier for you to get your hands on the original, it's whatever works best for you. There are a few cons with the remaster, namely those frame drops, and if you genuinely prefer not having the voice acting, and, you know, Dante not costing extra on PS2. But I overall feel it's still worth getting this game in its modern state. Alright Atlus, this is all fine and dandy, but what's your next remaster gonna be? Will it be Digital Devil Saga? Rhino 1 and 2? Are you bringing back Trauma Center?
Well, most of us are busy working on Shin Megami Tensei 5 and all of the Persona ports we left in storage, so best I can do is give you my Disney kitchen and throw in a digital keychain.
That's like the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
And you already sent in your pre-order.
Shut up.
Thanks for watching as always. It took an insanely long time to get here, but here we are. I'm hoping to speed up the rate I get videos out, so next up will be the P1 review. Thanks again to EwinRacing for the support as it helps the channel a ton, and the same goes to all my patrons. Also shoutouts to Spencer from Shin Megami Tensei Network for voicing Atlus, a role he was born to play. And finally shoutouts to my boy Michael F. He knows what he did. Anywho, that's all I've got to say. Stay safe, buy SMT5 when it releases, and yeah, that's it. Buy it.